Today is about the power of you. You will change the world.
Welcome to Turning Point with Patrice Williams.
We can be whatever we dream.
Enhance the way you think about successful entrepreneurship, empowerment, and politics to live your best life.
Fulfill the highest, truest expression of yourself.
And now your host, the authentic, impactful influencer and coalition builder, Patrice Williams.
Hello again. This is Patrice Williams with Turning Point, and we are here today to talk about volunteerism. When I think of volunteerism, this is one of the women that I think about. Shelee is here to talk about volunteerism. The other person I think about is Rhonda Smith. She runs away from the camera. We can't get her on, but we were able to get Shelee. Let me get her. Hey,
good morning.
How are you?
I'm wonderful. Getting tired of being at home because most of what I get to do is be out on the streets with folks. So thanks for inviting me today.
Well, I was telling you during our pre-show that the first time I remember knowing who you were on the side of a bus.
Yeah, that was a fun time for Loma Vista and our community garden community here in Vallejo.
You were one of the first people that I knew that talked about community gardening. Like, it was before it was a thing in my mind.
Okay. I've gardened since I was a child. It started with my grandmother and great-grandmother. But when I got involved with participatory budgeting as a volunteer and the community gardens projects came up, that just spoke to my heart, and really I dug right in, no pun intended. And soil development and getting kids involved basically was the best part of it. So being able to serve out at Loma Vista Farm, not only on their board, but with the volunteers out there and getting more new people involved.
Yes.
That was a lot of fun.
Well, it was a lot of fun for me too, because I was like, I've got to meet her. And then I started following you and I could see all the projects and it was pretty amazing. But I want to tell everyone about you. I have your bio. So let's start there.
All right.
And I was telling you before the break, I keep on hearing your name said all different variations. Shelee Loughmiller.
Close enough. Yes. And like I told you, I'll answer to anything close as long as I'm not late for dinner.
I love it. Community and volunteer coordinator for the city of Vallejo. Shelee has a deep personal commitment to strengthening the community she lives in. Shelee has been a long, avid volunteer, fully invested in building relationships within the community. Her primary focus is program development, as well as volunteer recruitment, retention for organizations looking to up their game and improve the programs and services they deliver to their clients and community. She holds a professional certificate from the UC Berkeley Extension Professional Fundraising and Volunteer Management Program, which has served her well in her current capacity. Shelee's personal commitment to service has been expressed by giving her time to several Vallejo-based organizations. She has served as the CFO, treasurer of the board of directors for the Humane Society of North Bay to St. Vinny's Community Garden, the Continental Omega Boys and Girls Club, and Friends of Loma Vista Farm. Her specialty is matching the right people to the right resources to move projects forward. That's a good bio. It touches all the points in which I've seen you work your magic. Friends of Loma Vista Farm, you are a huge advocate and an ambassador for them, and also the Continental Omega Boys and Girls Club. I saw you in the background working your magic there too. So you walk. You're in that space professionally, but this is what you do. This is how your heart beats. Volunteerism.
Well, thank you, because it really does. I was actually a volunteer before I got paid to do this work. Like I told my bosses, I would do this for free, but it's nice to get a paycheck. And really that began when I exited corporate America and said, I'm done with for profit, and took some time off and was able to give a lot of time, like 5 years, to just investing in my community with my time and treasure. And it's so engaging, and it really sparked in me that we need to do more of that in town and elsewhere. So it's coming in contact with the organizations that I was able to work with, and develop programs and try to get fundraising going and all of those things. Huge challenges, of course, but everybody was on board. So we did what we could, and it has just grown from there. And then the city formed this community and volunteer coordinator position a couple of years ago, based of the community, the arts community, coming together and saying, hey, we need to do more of this. And it was this is the first time this role has been in Vallejo. And so we're still working out what all I do. I've got my fingers in a lot of different projects still. And that's good, because I'm a jack of all trades, master of none.
I would not say that. I would not say that at all. Let's see. Let's go to the chat. Oh, look, we were just talking about her. Rhonda Smith. She said,
yes, ma'am.
Here to support you. You must have heard us talking about you. Our own Lisa Clinton says, welcome to Turning Point. Arali says that you are a community champion for all. And of course, for everyone that is watching, we have your contact information. So let's talk, because you were about to kind of dive into the city of Vallejo and the work that you've done there, because I thought of you a few different ways with the city of Vallejo. I remember when you first started, you were like, look, I need this master list of all of our nonprofit organizations in Vallejo. This needs to live somewhere. And you know, let me put together this database. So I remember you working on that. I remember when the pandemic first hit, I remember you doing this powerful, putting together, I think it was another database where you're like, look, if you're an employer and you're looking for, you know, great employees, let's hire Vallejoans. And if you're a Vallejoan and you're looking for an opportunity, click here. So it was almost like you were in the background doing almost employer matchmaking.
Yeah, to a certain extent. I think gathering information that I had put together and building these databases, because so many times staff has come to me and said, who do I talk to about this out in the community? So that's where that matchmaking comes in. And I've just done that naturally over the course of my career, basically. And that's where if you know what somebody needs and you know somebody that has something to give, everybody wins, and that's the goal. So putting it all in one sheet or one database was helpful for a couple of reasons. One, easy access and matching up folks. But during the emergency situations that we've had recently with fires and all of that, the different organizations that came together, having that easy contact information just cut down the time on how quickly we could get information back and forth. So that was also a great experience in a crisis, having information at your fingertips.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I knew that you and a team were behind census outreach, and
Yes.
I saw your digital. I saw the work you were doing beforehand, and then after the pandemic, that digital outreach that you were doing. And I remember going to City Hall and seeing big. I'm like, where are they getting these big posters? Your team have their fingers in that, and so I see you in the background moving and shifting and helping. So what are you so what does your position look like today? What are you working on?
Well, today, and I was just in a meeting before the podcast began on our reinitiation of the Adopt a Block, Adopt a Street, Adopt a Highway program for the city of Vallejo. We're also taking another look at how to address illegal dumping and general litter. And there had been a task force that brought together a bunch of different agencies, partner agencies, and that happened. It's called Ideal Vallejo is the name of the program, and that initiated early 2018. And so we're 3 years in, and COVID has really created a much bigger problem because of some of the challenges households are having. So we're working on an education and outreach campaign to really re-engage folks with information so they know where to take things rather than dumping them on the streets. Our challenge is reaching those who aren't on social media, that may not read the newspaper. So it's a whole nother level of challenge for getting a hold of those folks and saying, hey, there's options to dumping your stuff here. Cleaning up our alleyways and our waterways is a big task, and it involves all of our agency partners, as well as several large projects within the city staff, public works.
You know, I'm so glad you're working on this. You're right. Illegal dumping has been an issue for years. I lived in Vallejo for years, and it was an issue. And I'll see pictures where people are posting pictures, you know, where people have dumped, you know, all types sofas and this and that.
Yeah.
And, so education is how you all are going to attack this.
Well, we're dealing with the symptoms right now. We're addressing, we've got full-time staff out there on the grounds crew out cleaning up. We're working with Caltrans and Flood and Sand. There's all kinds of businesses being impacted, quality of life for our residents. So we really want to take a look at all the different silos people have been working in. And when we looked at that and kind of mapped it out, what we saw, the missing element was broad educational outreach. And so we've got a new tool coming on board here in the next couple of months. Mm-hmm. That's going to help us via social media and surveys to find out what folks' ideas are on how they can help. Because as a volunteer coordinator, it's been a lot of fun getting in touch with different groups to adopt a street. And we've got several service clubs who've jumped into the game, and they're out and have taken on Tennessee Street and Springs Road and the waterfront, not just clubs, but other as well as individuals doing this work. Mm-hmm. So I knew that there was a kernel of excitement to get involved. And we spend a ton of money addressing the issue, and now we just need to go further upstream and stop the issue where it starts. Is don't throw your stuff out the car window, put it in a trash can.
Right.
Kinds of things.
Right.
The school district is a big partner in this, because if the children in the families start giving their parents a hard time about it, things change. I used to work for Safeway, and I would see kids reading food labels, and their parents it was an education for the parents. So I kind of made that connection of, here's what we need to do to help get the word out about this issue, because it's costing us millions.
Mm.
And quality of life. There's just no dollar amount that you can put on that.
Right. So if an organization or a person adopts a street, do they get a sign? What did I get?
Satisfaction, number one, that their neighborhood looks better and feels better.
Yes.
Okay, so there's that. It's that, but that's the intrinsic value, right? So what we're working on is for the large groups that are adopting major corridors, we'll have signage, like you see. And there's some signs around town, but that's been probably 10 years ago that we put the signs in. So we're going to be doing those again. We've got goal setting for the city council coming up, so we'll be presenting this information to them in March. The other thing that I like the idea of a golden bucket, but because of safety, when you're out there on the streets picking up litter, we're going to go with vests.
Oh, okay. Okay.
You know, the striped vests, and the Benicia group has, the litter picker group out there have developed a really cute logo for their vests.
Oh.
Looking at doing something like that. But the other thing that volunteers have told me when they're out there doing these cleanups is they're getting to know their neighbors that they may have never met.
Yep.
They're getting to know parts of their neighborhood that they've never visited. And some of that could be because blight deters folks from getting involved. But when you're out there cleaning it up, then you watch over it so that it doesn't return.
Right.
There's that.
Right.
And if you want to put a number to it, housing prices are a benefit of a cleaner community. So there's a lot of value in the work that isn't necessarily tied to a thing. We're going to have contests and art contests for posters. How many bags can you collect? Oh, also, we've piloted curbside pickup if an individual goes around their neighborhood and they gather up 3 bags or more of the large trash bags, they can contact me and I'll contact Public Works to have them come swing by and pick it up so that their trash cans aren't filled with other people's stuff.
Right. Right. You know who also does a great job with this is the city of Fairfield. They also have a program where you can adopt a street, an organization, or a person. And I've seen in Fairfield, Anna Patero is a huge, she is the leader of that full program. She's out there picking up trash. They're taking selfies. They're taking a picture of all of the trash bags, and she makes it fun. And then she talks about all the exercise she's getting, and she got her vest on, so she's looking pretty snazzy. So I've seen her do that in Fairfield, and also in Suisun City, Mayor Lori Wilson has been leading an initiative, the Clean Team, before she was mayor. And on the weekends, Saturdays, they used to do that work. And I know that work continues on as well. So we really have a lot of, I'm excited that we're going to have county programs all throughout the county that's doing this great work.
Yeah, and that's great because eventually everything ends up in our waterways, and that's what we need to stop, because if we don't take care of our bay, there's other significant impacts. So knowing that it's countywide, and I know our supervisors, I've had conversations with Supervisor Hannigan about this, so she's going to be on board to help us get the word out. I'd be interested to see what the other cities are doing for those things that you spoke about. What is it that the residents get if they do this?
I know for a fact City of Fairfield gets a sign because I'm getting a sign.
Oh, cool.
Yes, some of the same things, the cute vest, even though it doesn't have a logo, the picker, the buckets, but plain white. Yeah. But their thing is they want to know, they want you taking pictures out there. They want to amplify out the message. Yes. And they do a great job with amplification. And
so we've got a group called, I'm sorry?
It fires you up.
Yeah, it does. And it keeps you going. We have a group that there's a couple of groups. One is the North Bay Ploggers. They have taken on Durr Street and Lemon down the water's edge. And that's a hot spot for dumping, so because it's hidden from view. So they've adopted that area, and I just love their concept. Is they have fun. The plugging, the name is fun, and they're very engaged. And they started doing this work a long time ago. The Vallejo Watershed Alliance is another group that does the dumpsters or does the pickups at different parks. Lake Dalwig is a big project right now. Mm-hmm. And then we've got, excuse me, curbside pickup for the larger items. I see Rhonda is talking about dumpster days. So kind of taking I'm veering off course here a little bit, but it'll come back. Up in Auburn, where my mom lives, just off the freeway, they've got a piece of land off, it's on state lands probably, but they've put 10 or 15 large dumpsters out there so that the public can come and fill them up. And then they just manage it in one spot. And that's another proposal that I'm going to be asking for support for.
Yes.
Let's find some spots so that these dump days that you have to line up for a couple times a year, you can be there for 2 or 3 hours of your day waiting in line to get through.
Yeah.
So did it a little bit more often. And figured out a different way to do it, I think that would help. And then anybody can show up. It's free. There's also 2 bulk pickups that folks can contact Recology about twice a year. So we need to do a better job of getting the word out broadly for that, because really there's so many tools and resources out there that we've already got. It's just getting the word out has been a big challenge, let me put it that way.
Right. Well,
I see Tiffany suggests the fairgrounds would be great. If you could get anybody to say yes to that one, I agree. It's a central location. There's plenty of land, but there's also considerations. So if there's enough public support for that, let's start banging the table about that a little bit.
Okay.
There we go, rattling it up a little bit. I need everybody's involvement and voices.
We have Natalie Hannigan that's also talking about keep it clean trash cans.
Ooh, I like that.
You like that one?
Yeah. We've also got our friends at Obtainium have fabricated a talking trash can.
Oh.
And so they've been taking it to farmers market, and the kids go up. It's a motion sensor activated type of device, and it sings a little song as the kids put their trash in it. So, tools like that would be a lot of fun.
Mm-hmm. That would be fun. It makes me excited.
086.
It makes me excited. Did you hear that?
I heard something. I couldn't understand what he was saying.
I have a husband here that can give a hoot whether I am live or not.
It's all good.
Oh, so we have Lori saying we are better when we work together. I agree.
Totally agree.
Would one of the programs also include clean up for the encampment camps? I know that we have Dee Dee and her husband, and they were doing a lot of work last year surrounding.
So, yes. During COVID, we actually had, they were individually going out there and picking up trash and getting the residents, the campers out there to collect their trash in bags. And then the city would come by and pick them up. At one time we had a dumpster out there, and it was so unmanageable because folks were coming off the freeway and we only had the one, and it's blocking access to the water station that's out there. So that camp has been cleaned up. They actually carried out, I think it was in December, between Flood and Sand, the county, the city public works, and our code enforcement agencies had been out there working with the campers to relocate them. Mm-hmm. At the end of the day, the cleanup took out 183 tons of material that had collected over probably 20 years. So huge effort on everybody's part to clean up that water. It's private property on the water's edge. So yes, there is. The other challenge is now that everybody's been dispersed, we're working with Vallejo together. And that will be part of the strategy, is to keep that partnership strong and encourage the campers to clean up their areas. Big challenge.
Right.
Challenges there, but it's top of mind.
So if people want to get involved, if they want to join a clean team, if they just want to volunteer, what do they do?
Contact
people fired up.
The city. Yeah, contact me at the city at my email. I have a packet for the adoptive place. It's the block, street, or highway. It's an application. It's a simple application process. And then I'll send you the info packet about what that means and what your commitment is. And then we take it from there. We've also got a community cleanup tool trailer that's stocked, and we dispatch that out to events. And that's by reservation. And the fourth quarter, we had every Saturday reserved. It was out in the city and groups were using it, so that it reduces the barrier for folks to volunteer, because I don't have a picker, I don't know what to do, kind of stops that, and everybody can join. The tools are right there, and we keep that maintained. And again, you can contact me directly for information on how to reserve the trailer.
Okay.
It's available 7 days a week.
Oh, okay. So not just weekends.
Nope, not just weekends. Weekends seems to be the best because there's a lot of folks that can do a Saturday or Sunday. But I know the North Bay Ploggers are going to start doing Fridays. And there may be other groups that can gather on a different day of the week. So it kind of spreads it out. The more often we have it deployed, the better. It just means there's more activity going on.
Okay. My sister, yes, Miss Jessica, I'm going to call you my sister, Jessica Ostrowski Kelly. She's got some great feedback in our chat. You did talk about youth, but through education. So she's talking about reusing garbage and including furniture. Then that would be, so a family could have used this couch, but no, it's going into our waste system. Is there a program that kind of recycles items?
So I know out at the Napa transfer station, they have a section before you actually get to the dump zone where you can put those items out and people can come pick them out. I was talking with someone the other day about the bulk pickup days where we would do them in sectors of the town, of the city. So say District 1 starts on Mondays and everybody would put out their bulk items. Somebody said they had known folks that furnished their entire apartments in San Francisco on those bulk days because they would go and salvage what they found, which I think is great.
That's amazing.
Out of the waste disposal stream and reuse it until it's just not able to be used any longer. That helps everybody.
Yeah, that does.
There's a group that has recently started in town that, has offered their things. It's like a free cycle. A free cycle is another system where you put your item up on social media and somebody comes in and says, yes, I could use that. So it's a barter. There's not trade, but reuse, reduce, recycle. That's the whole intent. Community driven. So it's gaining steam here. They have people in the group now.
I like it. I like it a lot. And Jessica is also mentioning the L&T principles: leave no trace, to our youth. And it's about leaving our spaces as clean as we found them, or even cleaner.
So I know that the school district has a program that supports that in conjunction with the Solano Open Space folks,
Mm-hmm.
as Vallejo Watershed Alliance does a Leave No Trace. Doug Darling, one of our biggest advocates for our streams and waterways, is definitely a promoter of that type of thought. So I'm taking these notes down real quick so that we can put some effort into marketing and doing a big push.
Yeah, there's a lot of interest here. So Jessica said that would be awesome. She says it saves money. It's just we're being great stewards. Let's see. Gian Rice says would be great if unhoused could be rewarded with permanent space in exchange for clearing out land. Of course, done in conjunction with other community groups. So I love these ideas. And so you're saying you're taking in all ideas. Would we email you ideas and thoughts as well, or?
Absolutely. So far it's been myself and my supervisor kind of brainstorming these things. So the more voices that we can get with different ideas how to address this problem creatively is totally appreciated. So you can email it to me. I'm collecting a list of these ideas, and once the interagency group gets back together, I'll be presenting them to them and saying, okay, let's look at this problem, this longstanding problem that's not getting any better. It's not going away. How are we going to address it differently than we are doing? To do the things we're doing, but let's add these elements. And that's all part of it. So that would be terrific.
Rhonda says
challenging all sororities and fraternities too. Thank you, Rhonda.
Rhonda, put your Solano volunteers and how to reach you all at Solano volunteers in the chat, if you wouldn't mind. Tamari Richardson says this is wonderful information. It's inspiring. Tiffany Jones, and she's a huge supporter of youth and education, says that is a great school-based education. So she is, and Jessica says, I love it when they put money where the mouth is. She says she is Gone Wilderness. That's her organization. They are happy to help.
Awesome, because I know when Jessica puts her mind to something, big things happen.
Well, look what she says next. Oh, she's on it.
Yep.
She is on it. Oh my goodness. Okay, so is there any other programs that you want to talk about that, just anything else? Because I think you've gotten us fired up about being environmentally conscious and really being good stewards to our land. Is there anything else that you have in mind? Or is that something you would have to run through city council before you just freestyle?
I kind of have to. Yeah, I have to go. Wait a minute. Like days of getting forgiveness versus permission. That's always the tension, right? I'm happy to nudge whoever I need to nudge to get these initiatives going. Rhonda and her group from the CVNL organization for their county is helping with volunteer recruitment all over the county. So we're posting our volunteer opportunities on their site, and that goes out broad-based.
Oh, that's a great idea. That's wonderful. That's a wonderful.
Yeah, I mean, that made sense. She's been a terrific support and bouncing ideas off. We actually have a lot of work that we're doing with the Solano County Office of Emergency Services. So our SCOAD team with the American Red Cross and Salvation Army and many other partners.
I'm a fan.
Emergency situation. Everything is so interconnected, and that's the great thing about this role is I'm free to go out and deepen these relationships and encouraged to do so. So if you've got ideas for how to address any challenges that you're seeing in the city, if we're not already working on it, I'm happy to discuss it further. And the newer ideas and the more innovation that we can bring to solve these really systemic issues,
right?
That's a positive for me. That's a positive for our community. And that's what it's all about. Our staff are here to serve, and we want to do the best job that we possibly can, given the resources and constraints of time and budget. Yeah. So the impact that our community members can have on this type of program is huge. And I'm all about building from the ground up, not top down. So that's the way you get things changed. You know that. You've done it.
You know, it's true. And I tell you, especially when we know the price tag is what, $2 million, that leaves a lot.
That's a drop.
Yeah. Like,
let me just preview a little bit of what's going to be reported to council next month.
Yeah.
Vallejo Sanitation and Flood are installing trash capture nets. 3 locations.
Ooh.
$5 million project. Installed now. There's a 3rd one coming online. That stops the upstream flow of litter into the waters, into the bay.
When do we get to see?
Spends a large dollar amount maintaining their parks, and a big piece of their landscape budget is cleanup. Our residents are spending their time cleaning up. It impacts us on so many different levels.
Right.
And the price tag is, you can't even put it together right now, but it's upwards of $10 million when you take into account everybody that's involved. And that's probably a light estimate. And that's just for our city.
But what's interesting about it is I remember being a guest teacher at an elementary school, and I asked them to list their top 3 concerns, issues, and dumping was one of those issues of elementary school children.
Yeah.
And I just thought that said so much.
Yes, it does. I wish there was something else I could focus on besides trash. But I'll have to get back to you that by the end of the year. I'm hoping that we'll have made enough progress that I can move on to something else.
You know, come back.
I'd love to.
Tell us where you are and tell us, you know, what call to action, what you need, and let us help you get the word out. But this
Perfect. I appreciate that.
Yeah. And, you know, I'm glad that this is the only thing we focused on, because we were really able to, you know, hyper focus on it and really kind of talk about it, get ideas. I mean, this is pretty awesome.
Well, there's a lot of opportunities to volunteer just across the spectrum. Our museums, our parks, our nonprofits in town that are doing great work. There's all kinds of opportunities. I'm just hoping that once we get out of COVID, we can get back to it, because it's really curtailed a lot of the live things that we can do together. And that's where the energy really is generated, is when you're working shoulder to shoulder with someone. That's where community building occurs. And that was another thing, a great thing about the gardens, was everybody was welcome. Everybody was encouraged to, and we met you where you were. It wasn't, you have to have a specific skill set. Bring what you've got. We'll put it all together and it becomes a cohesive endeavor. And right now we've got some beautiful gardens because of it.
I love that. Meet the community where they are.
Yep.
That's one of the things I say all the time. It's perfect. It's perfect.
We're not striving for perfection, but that's the goal.
It's pretty good. It's pretty good. Well, I appreciate you. I want the audience to know we have a lot of people that watch live, but then we have so many more, hundreds more that watch us later. So if you are watching and you want to be able to share this episode, please do that. But also, this episode will be able to be found on Facebook at Turning Point with K. Patrice. We also have a website we just launched, Turning Point with kpatrice.com, and people can go and look at not only this episode with Shelee, but also our previous episodes this year and last. So with that, I just want to thank you for coming on. This has been awesome. Now, is this the Rockwalla that I hear?
It is. This is Frankie getting up for the day. She's a late riser.
I see pictures on your Facebook page.
Oh yeah, she sleeps, and she sleeps probably more than anybody I've ever seen. I really appreciate the opportunity to. She's just getting up. She works nights. I really appreciate the opportunity to speak with you and your audience. And again, if anybody wants to send me their ideas, please do so. I'm here for you.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you.
Take care. Well, that has been another, if I say so myself, that was another awesome episode of Turning Point with K. Patrice. This is Turning Point with K. Patrice, and have a great week. Hold on.
Thank you for listening to another episode of Turning Point with K. Patrice Williams.
Something better is always possible if you're willing to work for it and fight for it.
Don't forget to subscribe, like, and leave a comment. And never miss a podcast or live stream by visiting our website, imkpatrice.com, or connecting through social media at IamKPatrice on all platforms.